Part 122. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1211. Chapter 1211 Manman loves to stir up trouble for Murong. Let me tell you a piece of good news and bad news. The good news is that I heard Lily say that I would agree to your proposal. The bad news is that Fei Chen showed up today and said he wanted to marry Lily. How could you say such a thing could happen, Lily? Lei is yours now, how can you steal your CEO Murong? Murong Ye was happy that Jian Yuman came to see him a moment ago, but within a few minutes, Jian Yuman told him such bad news. What? That Tang Feishan is here again. Murong Ye jumped up from the sofa in surprise, his chest heaving violently. This bastard, it's not enough to torture Lily. He actually has the nerve to come out and propose to Lily to see if I don't kill him. Murong Ye's deep eyes, Jian Yuman could feel the murderous aura spurting from his eyes, and she watched him rush out, leaving Jian Yuman messy in the wind. As soon as Murong Ye rushed out of the office, he shouted at the many subordinates sitting at the door. Brothers, let's fight. Yes, boss. A row of men in black stood up, each with a fierce look on their face, as if they were going to fight. Murong Ye walked into the elevator, and a swarm of men in black walked into the elevator, all of them even moving the pistols on their waists. Jian Yuman opened her mouth slightly and covered her mouth with her little hand in surprise. What are they doing? Fighting? Or murder? Isn't it just that a love rival appears? Why does it look like he wants to fight with someone desperately? Jian Yuman slapped his head and suddenly remembered something. Murong Ye's father was a gangster, and he had many black and white characters on hand. It was because of the existence of these people that the Emgrand group was able to rise rapidly in the first place. At the beginning, Murong Ye and Tangyuj used their brains and their connections to turn the Thin Dihao group into a world-class conglomerate. Don't look at Murong Ye Luo Li Biesuo, who looks like a cheap man who needs to be beaten and easily bullied, but in fact he is a person who is like a gangster. Moreover, he was born to be impulsive. Tangyuj grabbed his collar and knocked him unconscious many times and took him home. Otherwise, he would have had countless accidents. But this is the strength she wants. The bigger things are, the better, and the noisier things are, the better. No matter which one, Tang Feishan or Murong Ye, becomes his brother-in-law in the end, he must pass the test of Jian Yuman and become the most suitable person for Qi Lili. Facing Murong Ye's difficulties, if Tang Feishan didn't have the ability to solve the problem, his sister would not easily give up to Murong Ye. It's not the time for Murong Ye to appear yet. Jian Yuman rushed out quickly and caught Murong Ye in a fight-like manner. When she met them, she saw them sitting in a black car getting ready. Jian Yuman stood in front of their car and organized the meeting. Their departure. As soon as the car stopped, Jian Yuman ran over and slapped the window to let Murong Ye get out. Murong. Don't be impulsive. Stay calm. You are so impulsive. Do you know where Fei Chen is? After being reminded by Jian Yuman, Murong Ye, who was about to fight impulsively, remembered that because of his anger, he only wanted to kill Tang Feishan, but he forgot that he didn't even know where Tang Feishan was. Brother and sister, do you know where it is? I knew it but didn't tell you. Now you are rushing to fight. You are embarrassing Lili. You need to calm down and gather more people. You are not powerful enough for a dozen or so people. Manman slogan. Everyone shout together. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1212. Chapter 1212 Manman loves to stir up trouble 5. No. Then tell me quickly. Murong Ye opened the door and was about to pull Jian Yuman into the car and go together. Why are you so anxious? I won't tell you. You are going to fight. You forgot that Feishan is my Mr. Tang's brother. The one you are going to fight is my brother. If I tell you, I will be scolded by my Mr. Tang. Qian Yuman shook her head quickly. If a fight broke out, her life would be at risk. This charge of instigation cannot be washed away. If you don't tell me, I'll go by myself. Mirongye wanted to close the door and leave again, but Qian Yuman immediately grabbed the car door and refused to close it. You can't go. If you beat Fei Shen, it won't solve the problem. Maybe Lili I will blame you for being too impulsive. You see, my Lili I is so beautiful, she must have a lot of suitors. You can't beat them all on sight. I don't mind, Mirongye replied seriously. This answer made Qian Yuman roll his eyes. He really had this idea. Looking at his expression, it's no wonder that Lili I said before that she hasn't had a romantic relationship in the past few years and that he has driven away her feelings. It is impossible to kill someone, but if you beat them and threaten them, you will definitely not be able to escape. Let's do this first. Don't go to Fei Chen impulsively. I'll go find out what Lili I thinks. If Lili I has no feelings for Fei Shen and finds him annoying, you can threaten Fei Chen in front of Lili I. Show your manly side, maybe Lili I will rely on you more. What do you think of this method? Qian Yuman raised her eyebrows with a funny expression. Mirongye's eyes lit up instantly and he took Qian Yuman's hand. Sister, I followed Lei and called you sister. You must help me. As long as Lei and I are together, I will give you any gifts you need in the future. And I will also help you put all the peach blossoms around Tang Tang. Go away. If anything happens in the future, I, Mirongye, can even do more work and let Tang Tang spend more time with you. I will never complain. So, sister, you must help me. You see, a handsome and secure man like me is a top-notch man outside. Qian Yuman suddenly realized that she had accidentally turned on Mirongye's chatter mode and couldn't bear it and covered his mouth. When you see me in the future, you are not allowed to speak more than 50 words in a sentence. Do you know that you just said 150 words? Qian Yuman rolled her eyes unbearably. He began to regret appearing in front of Mirongye. Things were developing in a chaotic yet orderly direction. Qian Yuman happily went to find her sister and decided to find some time for her sister to meet Tang Feishan, and she could also ask Feishan about her thoughts. Tang Yuj, who was left in the hotel to take care of his child, had several phone calls coming in when he was confronting his son and insisting that little Mickey call him daddy. Tang Feishan, brother, where are you? Tang Yuj, I'm taking care of my children at home. Tang Feishan, is it little Mickey? I also want to see him, but I'm afraid Lili I will reject me. But brother, does the agreement you made back then when you proposed that I work for you still count? Tang Yuj, it counts. Keep it count at any time. If you help me, I can spend more time with your sister-in-law. But you suddenly want to leave the Tang dynasty group and come to my place? Tang Feishan, I'm still thinking about it. If I still want to be with Lili I will definitely leave my family's company, and my relationship with my father may even be at odds. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1213. Chapter 1213 Manman loves to stir up trouble 6. Tang Yuj, I can no longer stand that old-fashioned character. I support you in cheating. Tang Feishan, thank you, brother. After hanging up the phone, Tang Yuj looked at his phone. It's not right. Didn't my brother just say he was here to see the child this morning? Why is it that in just a few hours, he is already considering leaving his family's company and working for himself? If he does this, does Lili I agree? They probably haven't met yet. A few minutes after hanging up the phone, another call came. This time it was not Tang Feishan, but Murong Ye. Murong Ye, Tang Tang, this is incredible. Your brother wants to steal a woman from me, so I ask you, if I hit your brother, will you hit me? Tang Yuj. Murong Ye, let me tell you, I have been so motivated and angry for a long time. When I found out that your brother and Lili I were proposing just now, I almost rushed to kill him. But thinking that he is your brother, I held back, but I still have to beat him up and drive him away. Will you blame me? Actually, after much thought, no matter whether you blame me or not, I will drive away this who hurt Lili I back then. You're not angry with me for calling your brother a bastard? Who made him let down Lili I? I thought of Lili I's haggard look, and I swore that if he appeared next to Lili I would break his dog legs. But thinking that he is your brother, I will be gentler and let him lie on the bed for a while, just. Tang Yuj, shut up. Murong Ye, shut up, do you know how angry I am now? Snapped. Tang Yuj hung up the phone. Murong Ye's call came in again, and he directly muted his phone. Looking at the phone, Tang Yuj chuckled and answered 2 calls in a row. He finally understood what happened. Everything was caused by his woman. She must have said something that made Fei Shen consider whether to abandon everything and be with Lili I. He turned around and ran to tell Xiao that Fei Shen and Lili I had proposed, which made Xiao so angry. This woman is really afraid that the world will not be in chaos. She was so energetic that she actually ran to 3 places in one afternoon and forgot that she was pregnant. I don't even know how tired I am from running around like this. I just called and said I was looking for Lili I. This must be my 4th trip. No, we have to take her back and bring her back. We can't let her cause trouble anymore. Tang Yuj picked up his son who was playing with a gun model with one hand and ran away, regardless of whether his son wanted it or not. If little Mickey hadn't been so smart and kept holding the model tightly, he might not have had the model to play with. A busy pregnant woman found Lili I at this moment, gave her the address of Tang Feishan's current residence, and started to make trouble again with a sigh. Sister, what's wrong? I told Mr. Tang about you and Fei Shen, and Murong found out. He was so angry that he said he would drag you to get the certificate tomorrow and tie you up. What? Chi Lili I was startled. Although Murong Ye proposed to her 20 or 30 times and was rejected by her 20 or 30 times, she never forced herself every time. Fei Shen was very sad when he found out. He said he would definitely make an appointment with you and let you two have a deep chat. What do you think of tonight? Okay, Chi Lil frowned and nodded. How could things be like this? It seemed that she still had to tell Fei Shen in person that the child was not her business. They made an appointment with Tang Fei Shen. Qian Yuman agreed on the location with her sister. She arrived 10 minutes earlier than Lili I, and she pulled Fei Shen and made troublesome remarks again. Fei Chen, Lili I knows that you want to the child. She is afraid of losing the lawsuit because she is a single mother, so she decided to marry Murong Ye. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1214. Chapter 1214 Manman loves to stir up trouble 7. Fei Shen, Lili I knows that you want to the child. She is afraid of losing the lawsuit because she is a single mother, so she decided to marry Murong Ye. Qian Yuman came to the scene and pulled Tang Fei Shen to start making nonsense. The expression on his face is one of grief, regret and helplessness. The hesitant and distressed expression of Tang Fei Shen was so well done that it made people want to give her the Best Actress award. What? Lili I is getting married to Murong Ye. Tang Fei Shen stood up suddenly, his eyes widened in surprise, and he stared blankly ahead, his hands shaking rapidly. Yes, Qian Yuman turned her head, hiding her face and snickering. Fei Shen believed it again. She was indeed a genius and a representative of the acting school. Sister-in-law, I. Tang Fei Shen still had an expression of disbelief. Qian Yuman glanced at Tang Feishan, took another breath, and sighed. Are you particularly sad to hear that Li Li is getting married? That's right. You don't know that when Li Li heard the news that you were getting married, she got drunk and vomited for a whole day before she felt better. She was haggard, and even I also got seriously ill. This time, you are the one who wants to take away even the last thought of you, so you are anxious to marry Murong yet. Sister-in-law, I. What am I? Do you want to chase Li Li back, or do you want to fulfill them? Tang Feishan lowered his head. It's good that she's happy. If I can be happier with Murong Ye, I won't choose to give up. Qian Yuman suddenly raised her head and looked at Tang Feishan. This boy turned out to be a love saint. She thought that Tang Feishan would be angry and rush to people after hearing this. Instead of knocking him down, he would choose to marry Qi Li and Murong Ye. What about little Mickey? Are you willing to let Murong Ye be his stepfather? You clearly know that the person Li has in mind is you. Tang Feishan's eyes became more and more tangled, and the decision he had already made was completely disrupted by Qian Yuman's words. He said he wanted to make Li and Murong Ye come together, but this part of his heart ached violently. What should he do? Fei Chen, you have to learn to fight for it. No matter what, you have to obey the truest thoughts in your heart. To fulfill Li, and if Li loves Murong Ye deeply, your fulfillment is correct. If Li loves you, so is your fulfillment another kind of harm to her. After Qian Yuman said this, it was almost time for Li to arrive. Tang Feishan's expression was lost at the moment, his eyes were dim, he was completely immersed in his own thoughts, and he didn't even notice Qian Yuman leaving. Qian Yuman was still very satisfied, but she didn't really leave completely. She secretly installed a listening device under the table. They were professional equipment that she got from Xiaoling. Qian Yuman went out with a smile. As soon as she walked out of the hotel, she saw Li coming. She immediately hid behind the vase, and she was almost discovered. What are you doing here? Are you eavesdropping? A magnetic voice came from the top of Qian Yuman's head. Qian Yuman, who had a guilty conscience, was so frightened by the sudden sound that she jumped up from the ground, her eyes nearly bulging out of her head. She breathed a sigh of relief when she saw that the person standing behind her was not Qi Lyle. Qian Yuman complained as she patted her chest. Mr. Tang, if you scare someone, you will scare them to death. The baby is almost scared to death by you. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1215. Chapter 1215 Manman loves to stir up trouble 8. Tang Yuj rolled his eyes at Qian Yuman. You are a woman with a guilty conscience. I called you from behind, but you didn't hear it. Now you still blame me. Why, you're not satisfied. Qian Yuman stretched out her foot and was about to kick him in retaliation. Tang Yuj was agile and had already noticed Qian Yuman's thoughts. He quickly dodged and hugged the little woman tightly in his arms. He held one hand on her waist and the other on her head, and kissed her quickly on the lips. One time. They were startled by his sudden move, their cheeks turned red quickly, and they quickly looked around, and sure enough they noticed that many people were looking at them. The place where they were was originally at the entrance of the restaurant, and there was a lot of traffic. The two handsome men and beauties were kissing me at the door, which still made Qian Yuman very shy. Although Qian Yuman is very courageous in some aspects and is good at playing, it is limited to two people, but she never kisses in front of outsiders, or even hugs and wildly kisses outside. Suddenly being watched and kissed by so many people, her little face turned red. What are you doing? Kiss my wife. Tang Yuj looked at the shy look of the little woman in front of him with satisfaction, and even ended up burying her face in his clothes. You go away, you won't be home if you want to kiss me. We are already an old couple, and you feel shy after kissing me. I think you should get used to it sooner. Maybe I will be like a strong young man in the future, dragging you for a French kiss on the street. Go away, go away. Qian Yuman's face turned redder, even her ears turned red. Go home. Princess Tangyuj picked up Qian Yuman, startling her. Why are you hugging me in front of so many people? I have my own feet and can walk. You are pregnant now, didn't you say that I scared you just now? Ouch, what are you doing? Put me down, I want to take a peek later. He came to the car and gently put Qian Yuman down. Qian Yuman picked up the bug she had installed. Lily I had already gone in and the conversation might have started. She still wanted to pay attention. As soon as Qian Yuman took out the bug, Tangyuj recognized it and snatched it away from her. Eavesdropping device, you're not trying to eavesdrop on the conversation between Lili and Fei Shen, are you? Give it to me. Qian Yuman wanted to grab it, but he was not tall enough and couldn't reach it. You should stop meddling in other people's business. I already know what you are causing trouble today. Fei Chen and Xiaoye called me respectively, and I realized that you, a woman who is afraid of chaos in the world, told a lot of lies. Tangyuj stretched out his fingers lovingly and flicked Qian Yuman's forehead. Qian Yuman covered her forehead and protested with dissatisfaction. What do you mean lest the world be in chaos? I am working as a matchmaker. This is my latest profession that I have fallen in love with. I want to see if I can help Lili find true love. Is this how you create true love? I think your plan is going to fail and people will definitely find out. How is it possible? My plan is perfect. Qian Yuman's confident expression made Tangyuj burst into laughter. It was obvious that there were many loopholes in it. After everyone sat down and communicated, they knew everything. Hey, hey, hey. What are you laughing at? I admit that there are some loopholes, but that's not the point. I just help Lili screen to see who she is suitable for. Fei Shen and Murong are both excellent, and no one will suffer if they choose. I just want Lili to choose the one that suits her best. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1216. Chapter 1216 Little Mickey's Resentment 1. I think you should put a matchmaker's mole on this place. Tangyuj's beautiful finger touched the corner of her mouth. Go away, Qian Yuman squeaked and slapped his paw away. Tangyuj waved the bug in his hand in front of Qian Yuman. Since you told me to go away, it seems you don't need the bug, so I'll throw it away. You can't throw it away, I have to eavesdrop. Qian Yuman anxiously wanted to it back, but she was not tall enough, so Mr. Tang threw it in the direction of the fountain. What are you doing? That belongs to Xiaoling, I have to give it back to her. Qian Yuman looked helpless. If she fell into the water, it would definitely be useless. I will help you compensate Xiaoling. As for you, you should go home with me obediently. As a pregnant woman, don't you feel guilty wandering around outside every day? When he opened the door, someone gently but forcefully pushed a woman away. Go in. Qian Yuman looked disgusted. Oh. What's this? You forgot that when I was pregnant with little Mickey, it was fine. I just ran a few places. What can I do? You have the nerve to say that? You won't be allowed to worry about this pregnancy. I will hire a bunch of people to take care of you. From now on, a nutritionist will prepare your meals every day. You had a dystocia when you gave birth and it almost killed you. Don't think I don't know. How can it be the same? It wasn't that time. It wasn't because I saw you signing the divorce agreement and was stimulated to give birth prematurely. Qian Yuman pouted dissatisfiedly when she mentioned the sad incident at the time and did not continue. The painful and hopeless feeling from before reappeared in my heart. When she ran away from home and left the divorce agreement, it was just a matter of anger. Unexpectedly, he was willing to sign it, which was why she was so angry that she gave birth prematurely. No matter how you protest this time, you have to listen to me. Giving birth is a life and death experience for a woman. This time it was an accident. We will not give birth after this birth. I don't want you to go through the pain of giving birth. Tanyuj touched Jianyuman's face distressedly. When Jianyuman felt deeply depressed, she heard Tanyuj's words, raised her little face, stared at her beautiful peach blossom eyes, and looked at the man in front of her who was looking at her affectionately. His hand touching her face was so gentle, as if touching the most precious treasure in the world. Jianyuman's mood instantly changed, becoming warm and sweet, and the heavy pain of the past was replaced. They are happy now and she should not think about the past. Mr. Tang agreed to divorce her because he didn't love her at first, but it's different now. Mr. Tang has fallen in love with her, and she is now the happiest woman in the world. Let him go by the past. Jianyuman had a bright smile on her face. It's good that you asked me to give birth to a football team for you before. If you have twins every time you give birth, having a football team is no longer a dream. Tanyuj's eyes flashed with anticipation, and Jianyuman immediately pushed him away. Get out of here. Tanyuj immediately hugged Jianyuman, unwilling to get away, and even kissed her on the face. Secretary Zhang, who was driving in the front seat, silently withdrew his voyeuristic eyes and drove seriously. Little Mickey, who had been forgotten for a long time, glared at Tanyuj with a look of great hatred. He had been sitting aside for a long time, and Mommy didn't even look at him. She even fought with Biden Daddy and pushed him into a corner. It's extremely abominable. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1217. Chapter 1217 Little Mickey's Resentment 2. It would be unworthy of a gentleman not to avenge this. Little Mickey swore viciously that he would not make things easier for Daddy White Egg in the future. Snort. The bad guy actually went to steal Mommy. I. Little Mickey glanced around to see if there were any props that could be used to bully people and express his presence. He could no longer be ignored by the men and women in front of him. Who is this Little Mickey? Kyan Aokan is the Little Mickey that everyone loves and flowers bloom. Little Mickey noticed an unopened bottle of water. He had an evil smile on his lips that was somewhat similar to his daddy. He took the mineral water and tried hard to open the bottle cap, but his claws were small and his strength was weak. Little Mickey turned his attention to the man and woman beside him who were still fighting and showing off their affection. He pushed Tanyuj with a mineral water bottle. Open it. Tanyuj held Jianyuman's waist with one hand, pinched her chin with the other and kissed her mouth. A bottle of mineral water came to him. He was still immersed in the passionate kiss. He took the bottle without thinking, opened the bottle cap with one hand, and continued to kiss Jianyuman's mouth. Little Mickey glanced at the man and woman who were happily kissing each other. His little mouth was pouting even higher, and it could hold 10 pounds of durian. Little Mickey drank half a mouthful of mineral water and climbed onto Jianyuman's calf. Jianyuman, who was kissing the point passionately, opened her eyes and glanced at Little Mickey sitting on her lap. She also noticed her son's face. With an unhappy expression. Why? Is my son in the car too? Jianyuman finally found her son. I saw Little Mickey pouting at Tanyuj, with 2 lines of water dripping from the corners of his mouth. What is the little guy doing? Just when Jianyuman was wondering what he wanted to do, Little Mickey sprayed the mineral water from his mouth on Tanyuj. When she realized what her son was going to do, Jianyuman tilted her head back to prevent herself from getting into trouble, and opened Tanyuj's waist in one go. As expected of Little Mickey's mother, she had seen through Little Mickey a long time ago. Little Mickey took another sip of water and sprayed it in Tanyuj's face. Tanyuj, who was still immersed in the intimacy with Jianyuman, did not expect that his son would suddenly attack him. Jianyuman pushed him away. When he opened his eyes in confusion, a large amount of water sprayed on his face. Then a burst of laughter rang out from Jianyuman's mouth. She hugged her son with both hands and looked at Tanyuj's embarrassed appearance with gloating. Tanyuj, who had a wet face, widened his phoenix eyes, and his gaze fell on the culprit of the triumphant expression, the son he had just met. If the boy in front of him was not his son, he would definitely grab him, take off his pants, press him on his thigh, and slap his hard with his big palm to punish this little guy for daring to mess with Taisui. But, the boy in front of him is his biological son. He regrets not seeing him born and seeing him grow up and become able to speak. It's too late to pamper him, so he dares to hit him, especially since this kid still doesn't want to call him daddy. Little Mickey, what are you doing? Why do you spray water on my face? Tanyuj was patient and spoke nicely. He wanted to be a kind father. However, in little Mickey's mind, Tanyuj has been positioned as an idiot and a bad guy. How could he change his attitude just now when he looks so nice? His behavior of hugging mommy and snatching her away from him just now has given him another position, the wild man outside, snatching her away from mommy. Wild men must be driven away. His Majesty, who would have had a headache for a day or two when he came to my aunt, passed by. He got up early to go hiking today and almost fainted on the mountain. Simply. Take your life and exercise. I'm sweating all over at this moment, but thinking about my laziness in the past 2 days, I should update a little more tonight. The update depends on how long your Majesty can persist. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1218. Chapter 1218 Little Mickey's Resentment 3. Bad guy, you're not allowed to hold my mommy and kiss her. Mommy can only kiss her. The little guy had a serious face, glared at Tanyuj fiercely, and declared his sovereignty. The little paws hugged mommy and refused to let go, full of possessiveness. You little bastard, if I hadn't held your mother and kissed her, how could I have had you? Tanyuj stretched out his paws, wanting to take his son into his arms, ravage him, and defend his sovereignty. His own woman has a kiss on the floor, but her son still interferes with her. Go away. Don't touch my mommy. Mommy can only be mine, so get out of here. Little Mickey roared at the top of his voice, turned around, hugged mommy's waist, and began to accuse. Mommy, ignore this bad guy. He always bullies me. Mommy, please drive him away. Tanyuj's expression became very exciting. He wanted to teach his son a lesson, but also wanted to reshape his father's image as a kind father, but his son was too much in the way. He hugged his woman and said he would drive him away. Jianyuman looked at Tanyuj's embarrassed look and smiled happily. It's so fun for father and son to get along. Mommy. You can only be mine. Little Mickey hugged mommy, looked at Jianyuman seriously, and solemnly declared his sovereignty. Your mommy is mine, and so are you. Tanyuj protested resentfully at the side. Little Mickey, he is your daddy, you can't talk like this. Jianyuman gently touched her son's little face. I don't want a wild man to be my daddy. Little Mickey shook his head like a rattle, banging his head crazily to refuse this daddy. You bastard, if I don't hit you, I'll slap you on the nose, right? Tanyuj rolled up his sleeves, looking like he was about to start a fight. Little Mickey shrank into Jianyuman's arms in fear, raising his little head pitifully in accusation. Mommy, look, he wants to hit me. Why do you want to be with such a violent wild man? Mommy, are you a masochist? Ha ha ha. Jianyuman gloated, looking at Tanyuj with sympathy, and patted her son's back gently to comfort him. Boy, I am your father, how can I be like you? Why should I compete with you for your mommy? Your mommy is mine to begin with, and that's why you have her. and your mommy now has your younger brothers and sisters in her belly. If you lose your brothers and sisters, your mother will never pay attention to you again. Tanyuj, an unqualified father, actually resisted bullying his son at this moment. Once he heard that his mother was going to be snatched away by his younger siblings, little Mickey burst into tears and lay in Jianyuman's arms, crying loudly. Tanyuj, how old are you, and you still bully your son? When Jianyuman heard that her son was crying, she glared at Tanyuj angrily and patted little Mickey to comfort him. Little Mickey kept crying and shouting, "No white eggs," and drove people away. Tanyuj's expression was also very wonderful. When he accidentally saw his son's little face that was only slightly red but without any trace of tears, he understood in his heart. This little boy showed up just to trick his father. After dinner, Tanyuj smiled and hugged Jianyuman back to the room, intending to relieve the past night's style. The two were flirting, and just when they laid her down on the bed and were about to raise the gun and give her some tenderness, the sound of milk came from the side. Sound. Biden, what are you going to do to mommy? Little Mickey's voice full of resentment reached Tanyuj's ears. Little Mickey, fight with me. White egg daddy, you are still young. Sugar baby, my happy life. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1219. Chapter 1219. Father and son compete for favor 1. Biden, what are you going to do to mommy? Little Mickey's voice full of resentment reached Tanyuj's ears. Tanyuj, who had just kissed Jianyuman, suddenly heard a sound in his ear. He was so frightened that he immediately sat up from the bed and pulled the quilt to cover the two of them. Although both of them were still wearing their clothes, the two of them, who were guilty of committing crimes, still grabbed the quilt tightly and looked at little Mickey, who was standing by the bed with his hands folded on his chest and glaring at them. Little Mickey, why are you in daddy's room? Tanyuj tried his best to smile and looked pitifully at the little gun on his lower body. He was frightened by his son's sudden appearance. If he had been frightened a few more times, will he become impotent in the future? Humph! Little Mickey snorted coldly at Tanyuj. Do I admit that you are my daddy? Little Mickey spread his short legs, climbed to mommy's side, and hugged mommy's waist. I'm here to sleep with mommy. There's no one else waiting, so get out quickly. Little Mickey waved his little hands and drove Tanyuj out of the room. He hugged mommy's waist possessively, and his eyes were fierce and wanted to hit someone. This is my room, even the house is mine. Wherever mommy sleeps, I will sleep. Little Mickey ignored Tanyuj's protests and hugged mommy's waist tightly. Jianur, faced with his son's request, the pitiful sugar baby looked at his woman pitifully. His little eyes were so pitiful. He hadn't slept with his wife in his arms for a long time. The two finally got back together, and he still wanted to know more. After being gentle for a period of time, even if you don't do anything bad, you still have to hug her to sleep. When you wake up in the morning and open your eyes, you can see Jianyuman. Jianyuman bared her teeth helplessly and patted her son gently. Her meaning was very clear: don't be serious with her son, he is just a child. Okay, I'll do the next best thing, and your kid will come too, and we'll sleep together as a family. No, you go out. I don't like sleeping with you. Mommy, don't sleep with the wild men outside. As you told me, there are differences between men and women. Little Mickey raised his head and looked at her with fiery eyes. Jianyuman got her answer. There are differences between men and women, but he is your daddy and I am your mommy. We are a family, and sleeping together is normal. Mommy, I don't want this white-ass daddy, I just want you. In the future, my stepfather will also want me to choose a good one for me. This white ass is so bad, I know how to compete with him for mommy. Who wants such a father? Land. Am I not good enough for you? Tanyuj jumped up. Looking at this cheating son, he felt like he was about to vomit blood. What's better? Little Mickey looked at Tanyuj with a look of resentment. Tanyuj was choked by what little Mickey said. Thinking back carefully, he realized that he was not good enough to deal with the little guy. He was always serious with the kids and would not give in to his son. Okay, I'll give you the room today. Not only today, my future mommy will sleep with me, and you will be wanted and robbed. Little Mickey held Jianyuman's waist harder, and looked at Tanyuj with eyes full of hostility. Compared to Tanyuj's frustration, Jianyuman had already been extremely happy. It was really interesting to see Tanyuj's deflated look. Mr. Tang has a nemesis in his life, and that is his precious son Little Mickey. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1220. Chapter 1220 Father and Son Fight for Favor 2. Mr. Tang has a nemesis in his life, and that is his precious son Little Mickey. Having a dreamless night, Jianyuman fell asleep holding Little Mickey in her arms. She had no idea that there was an extra person in the middle of the night yesterday. She climbed into bed secretly and hugged the big and small children together in her arms. Tanyuj looked down at his beloved woman and child who were already asleep, with a satisfied smile on his lips. This feeling is so good, I really hope to do this every day, holding them to sleep together. Hold the two of them tightly into his arms, close his eyes and sleep. Happy dreams are boundless. The next morning, Tanyuj was the first to wake up. When he woke up, he saw his beloved woman beside him. When he lowered his head, he saw the little guy being held in the middle by the two of them. Their hands and index fingers were interlocked, and they looked at each other. See. Tanyuj showed a happy smile and looked at Jianyuman tenderly. It's so happy to be able to see her when I wake up. Unable to hold back his laughter, he leaned forward and kissed her cheek, which was very close to her, on her red lips. The itching on her face also woke up Jianyuman, who was sleeping. When she woke up, she saw Tanyuj's enlarged handsome face and grinned. Morning. Morning. The two people looked at each other, smiling at each other, their faces kept getting closer, their red lips touched, and they had a passionate good morning kiss. Little Mickey also woke up. The reason he woke up was that he had difficulty breathing. He felt like he couldn't breathe. He seemed to have had a nightmare in which he was caught in the middle. Two pieces of cotton were trying to pinch him to death. He couldn't breathe at the end, and then he woke up and opened his eyes. Huh? Why is it so dark? Are you still dreaming? Little Mickey, who was caught in the middle, pushed the wall in front of him uncomfortably and climbed out with difficulty. When he looked back, he saw that it was Daddy and Mommy hugging each other and kissing each other, and he didn't even notice that he had woken up. Bad guy. Ah, Little Mickey screamed, rushed over, and hit Tanyuj on the back. You are not allowed to kiss Mommy, Mommy can only kiss me, get out of here, get out of here. Little Mickey kept shouting and used his hands and feet to hit Tanyuj hard. However, the little guy hit Tanyuj with his fist and felt nothing at all. A certain man was still holding his beloved woman and kissing her passionately. Jianyuman was brought back to reality by her son's cry. She opened her eyes and noticed Little Mickey, who was constantly attacking Tanyuj. She glanced at the man in front of her who was still kissing her with great enjoyment, but she was not moved at all. Jianyuman smiled helplessly and pushed Tanyuj, and then stopped the two of them from continuing to perform in front of her son. At this moment, Little Mickey jumped up together and jumped on Tanyuj's waist. As a result, he lost his footing and was about to fall unconscious, but was picked up by the sharp-eyed Tanyuj. Son, why are you so angry so early in the morning? Why are you in my room? Why did you kiss my mommy? Did you know that you almost suffocated me to death just now? Little Mickey's protest made the two of them remember that little Mickey had been among them from just now. They were so absorbed in the kiss that they forgot that little Mickey existed. Tanyuj picked up little Mickey by the back of his collar and stood up. You're not young anymore. If you don't want to be squeezed in the future, just go to bed alone. Humph, dream on, little Mickey waved his little paws, refusing to admit defeat and glaring at Tanyuj fiercely. End of this chapter.